Oh, come on. That isn't even an orange. That's not even funny. Welcome back to the recap review. Today we're starting off the Titans from 2005 with everyone's favorite, or not favorite, Keetongu. Set number 8755. The approximate amount of parts containing the set are 203, and at time of release the set was approximately $20. So here we have another Rahi, and in the story he's supposed to be the healer. He knows a lot of, he's very intelligent Rahi. He probably went to Rahi school for medicine. He knows how to heal people that have been infected by the Visorak. That's really good. But let's get into the set. First of all, we can definitely see he is an incredibly new color that everyone refers to as Keet Orange, a mixture of orange and yellow. But he was the set that predominantly featured it, so it was named after him. It's a fan name though. Unless LEGO actually uses it. I doubt they do. Anyway, let's get in the set. Pros, definitely new color. It's always nice to see a lot of new colors, recolors, out the wazoo. A lot of duplicates, so a lot of usable pieces here. So that's out of the way. Another pro I would have to say would be the amount of articulation. Obviously the standard 3 in the legs, and 2 in the arms, and 1 for the neck. Another pro would actually be the unique head design. Granted, it is a little bit lackluster, but we haven't really seen something like it before. Definitely gives him the most unique Cyclops feel. Granted, in the story, he actually has 2 eyes behind those, and this is just a fake. But it can be used for something. Another pro I would have to say are his functions, which he has, of course, well, technically 3 of. First, on his right arm, we have what seem to be Nuvakal shields. But with the turn of this axle here, they're rotating blades. And they fold up when you stop. So that is actually really fantastic. It adds a lot of playability to the set. The second function, when you turn these 2 little red pegs upward, his entire torso can move forward. This moves down, and his torso will move down and forward, allowing for the third and final function. With this ripcord here, it goes right to his Rituka spinner. Insert it there. The Rituka spinner is the standard blaster of the year, of course. Insert it there, and off we go. A little bit awkward, but it works. It's a red spinner. Just put that there, put that up, clip that down. Another pro would definitely be the fact that he actually has a way to contain his Rituka. And it's actually very nicely designed into the set's build. So that is very nice to see. So overall, I'd have to say those are the general blanket pros for the set. Not a lot, sure, but they highly impact the set. Final one, however, you have the ripcord here. On the back, you have these 2 pegs. Take the ripcord, can act as an almost antenna-like design. I'm going to leave it like that. It looks pretty cool. It doesn't have any story function, and in fact doesn't show in pretty much any of his artwork, but I do like how that looks, and it's nice for storage. Final pro, actually, consistent color scheme. While the new colors are nice, the color scheme is also incredibly consistent, being that of Keet Orange, gray, and the occasional black and red, and silver. So it is nice to see it's fairly consistent. Unfortunately, that is where the pros end. We have to now get into the cons. Starting off, the occasional breaking of the color scheme with the obligatory blue pins, and dare I say, the red. Now the red does flow very nicely with the new Keet Orange. However, there are only 3, technically 4 red pieces in the entire set, so that does break it up a little bit. Another con would definitely be his left arm. This is the most lackluster arm on a Titan that I have probably ever seen and ever will see in a set. It is comprised of merely 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, which is abysmally sad. Another con would be the open socket joints here and here. Granted, they don't affect so much here, but this looks awful. I'm sorry. I'm not. Another con I would have to say would be his spindly ankles. I'm not entirely sure why they didn't put these down. Just flip them. Maybe it was because of the articulation and ankles. Ankles. But that kind of looks a little odd. Some would say that another con, however it doesn't really affect the set, would be the reversed look on the armor plates here. Why didn't they flip them around to give it a smoother, sleeker look? I'm not really sure. Possibly another con would be the lack of shoulder armor. We see in the next two Titans that they have adequate shoulder armor, however he does not, which is a shame. Another con would probably be the lack of an actual head. Really, it's just a hand with a long tube and a Borak shield over it, so there isn't really much of a head there. Another con, and this is only really when you have the ripcord off, there are open axle joints, peg joints, which is definitely a shame to see, which is why I would probably advise leaving that there. It does look good. But overall, I would have to say that's about it. Maybe the final con being the awkward way that this is this is kind of unusual. If it's like this, the Ripcord does have the perchance to fall off, which is a shame. The firing position is definitely unusual. However, the function does work very well. So overall, I would have to say he is a mixed bag. Out of the Titans, he's probably the weakest, but he does offer a lot of new recolors in a definitely new color, which is very nice to see. The functions are pretty fantastic and they work very well. Granted, you may have a few issues with stability. I haven't noticed all that many. And he does look very awkward and kind of patched up in some places, specifically the left arm, and some would say even the head. But overall, I'd say he's an alright Titan. He's definitely unique in a lot of ways, and important to the story. He has a lot of playability to him. So, if you're looking for that, definitely advise trying to find him and pick him up, because he stands out of the crowd. Which is funny, because he's actually pretty short. But that about says it for Keetongu. I hope you've all enjoyed this review, and if there's anything that I may have messed up on or forgotten, please let me know in the comments, not above but below. I hope you all join me next week when I go over the king of the Visorak Horde and his arch nemesis, Sidorak. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all next week.